And good evening, folks. It's time for another wonderful chatting with Javi, number 56. And bear with me while I send. I just came in from the outside, so I need to send my links to my friends here. No problem. And there we are. All right. So tonight, what I'm going to be doing is I'm just going to be soldering. All right. Um, I am going to be just soldering some motor connections here for uh, for a couple customers. And how's everybody doing today? Nice, relaxing day. So, see, I gotta share with you guys when you don't pay attention to what you're doing, you make mistakes. So this is a connector properly soldered with the you know with everything. And on the other end of the connector, let's say so. This is one of the motor cables I use. Hey, Dave, how's it going? This is one of the motor cables I use. So you've got the connector on one end that plugs into the Javi box, and you've got four wires, which I shall be wiring and heat shrinking directly to the motor. Wonderful. When you don't pay attention and you're tired and you're hungry, well, then you solder one side, a connector, very nice, and then look at that. That's worthless. I don't have the. First of all, there shouldn't be a connector on there. It should be four bare wires. Second of all, what happened to this? And what happened to this? So I'm telling you guys, this soldering work, um, while it's fun and it's therapeutic, I like to call it therapeutic. That's a different word for monotonous. Hey, Paul, how's it going? So it could be monotonous, could be therapeutic, whichever you want to call it. While it is both of those, it's also it demands a little bit of attention because you tend to, if you don't pay attention. So let me just unsolder these things. Actually, this is going to be pretty easy because I'll do the old cutting off and stripping of the cables. I don't need any solder. I need to, at the moment, I have to join the cables together, so I'm not even worried about that. And this one. And, alrighty. Now, I'll do the old stripping of the cables. Okay, now that is how it should be. And we move on to the next cable, which that's what I got to connect it to. So let's do that, shall we? And I will point the camera down so you guys can, I don't know, enjoy the soldering. Kevin, how are you from Philadelphia? I was just talking to my daughter's boyfriend. Both my daughter's taking off tomorrow to off to college. It's a beautiful. It's a bittersweet moment, and we had both families over, and her boyfriend's going to University of Pennsylvania, so subject of Philadelphia, and my brother-in-law went to some school of the arts there in Philadelphia, some big school of the arts. I don't know what it is, but all right. So Now I'm on the right side. Now I can solder this tip. Ah, excellent. I'm glad you like the Saturday night class. Yeah, Saturday. I mean, these days, I mean, it's just chatting. It's just relaxing. It's just me, you know, chewing the fat, as it were. Sometimes it's interesting. Sometimes it's crazy. Sometimes it's me venting about something, and sometimes it's just a quiet night soldering. But Saturdays, I try to make it as scripted as possible because, well, just because. I'm going to see what I can do about moving the camera to a better location, but for now, so what I'm doing now is what I always do. For those of you that have been paying attention, tin the wires. One thing that's one of the most important tips in soldering is you have to tin the connectors, the connections, and you got to tin the wires. That's let me give you a few tips, a few soldering tips now that I'm soldering. All right, so one very important thing is you have to tin both sides. If you don't tin them, it makes it 10 times as hard. Second thing that I would say is very, very important. It's heat transfer. You cannot transfer heat if you don't have a clean tip and you tin the tip every time. Every time you got to put just a little dab of fresh solder on the tip. Why? Because fresh solder doesn't have all the flux burned off. And that's what you need for heat transfer and to make sure whatever level of oxidation, that it only takes seconds, whatever level of oxidation has coated either the connector, the solder, or the wires, or whatever, is clean and everything adheres. It's a little different than soldering, a little different, but than soldering plumbing. Ah, excellent, Bobby. Good to hear. Good to hear. Okay, so let's see. So this would be the red. Oh, we have to make sure once I have the right one. Okay, the notch is on the bottom. I plug it in. It's red, blue, black, yellow. So red goes there. And once I have the first one in place, the rest are a cakewalk. So yeah. See, it's difficult. I'm unless you press and press and press and all that, and you're not going to get a good solder. The heat is not going to transfer, and you're going to help melt everything. You want the heat to transfer quickly, and that's why you tin the solder, it melts, and you're done. It's that simple. If you don't tin it, here, let me show you what happens if you don't tin it. Okay, if I don't tin the tip. Now it's just been recently tinned, so but if I don't tin the tip, I press it, and it's hard pressed to join. Now if I tin the tip, just like just enough, done. That whole thing is melted. Now me, I'm a little not a perfectionist, but I like to have a nice. I don't want to have an ugly look to the solder, so. And let's see. After blue comes the black. So I've got two going out today. I wasn't sure if I was going to get one done or two. I got two going out today, and another 5 going out this week. It's the end of my batch, as it were, because I do everything in batches. For those of you that know, okay, so Now there's the solder. It's a nice clean solder on all the ends, and then I just take the heat shrink, bring it right up to there, and voila. So I was talking today with a friend, and he's going to me, why do you go through this much trouble? You could do this, you could do this, you could do this. Namely, and if any of you guys got ideas, I'm always willing to listen as far as saving time. The issue is I don't want to sacrifice quality, features, or, well, money for time. And any other solution other than what I'm doing now, like, for instance, there's the old Xylotex. It was a handy dandy little box. It's been reliable to quite a number of people. Hey, Chris, good evening. How are you? The Xylotex has been very handy to a lot of people, but the Xylotex, let me see if I have one. Yeah, let me yank it out real quick and I'll show you guys something. Okay, this is an old Xylotex. They don't make these anymore. It's very easy for me to duplicate this. All right. Good evening, Dennis. How are you? Yeah. Well, they are, but I'm used to the connections. So it's very difficult to. I mean, you can't find these anymore. But let me tell you what the prior guy did with this. First of all, it's a very quick build. And the reason why I say that is because you have the drivers built in. All you have to do is connect the power supply to the drivers. This parallel port just plugs in. Great. And then the rest, it's all assembly. You assemble the plugs, you mount these in, you put the fan in there, and you're done. A few things I don't like about it, it's in such a small form factor that it will build up heat. And there have been some people complaining about the heat. There are some heat sinks underneath here, but now all in all, you're basically saving about $200 in materials and labor. So what I would sell for $575, this used to go for $430 with motors. Now without motors, it would probably go for, now in today's prices, about $400. So you're saving about $100, $100 or $2. But here's the thing: number one, no inputs. You have to buy a breakout board. You have to wire your own breakout board. No, I mean, plain and simple. The second thing I'm not happy with is, because I was considering it, and if you guys think, hey, maybe that might be the right way to go, offer that as an extra option, as the cheap version, and I could do that, but I don't like skimping on quality. And if I start getting a bunch of these back because they burn them out because of the quality, I can't, I mean, this would be a box that has absolutely zero guarantee from me if I do build something like this. Because these, like I said, these are TB6600s. They're meant to run 2 amps. Mine are running 4.2. Well, 3 is what the motor pulls, so not an issue. But anyway, mine have the inputs. 4 inputs, 4 outputs. Ready wired. With the plugs and all that. Yeah, all that takes time, and that's that's basically why the difference in cost, but it's also the difference in how long it takes to produce. I could knock 10 of those out a day, you know. But here's the problem. If you'd have to, you know, you'd have to figure out how to do all the inputs and outputs yourself. You know, it's an option. I can give it as an option to people that like to somewhat do it themselves. But I don't know. I don't know. It's I'm still hesitant to offer even anything that has an inferior quality to it. But when people think plug and play and they think my box, it's definitely just plug and play. It's not, well, it's plug and play to get the motors running, but oh, that's another thing. No connectors or anything like that. All the wires were coming out of here directly wired to the motors. So it came already directly wired. I mean, how hard is it to plug in 4 cables? And if you have a bad motor, I like having everything components. Good evening, Big D. So, I mean, there's a lot of there's the only advantage to the old Xylotech boxes is that it gets you up and running real quick, and it's this I have to wire this one. It gets you up and running real quick, but you can't go as fast with the Xylotech as you could with the Javi box. I'll tell you that right now. I guarantee you will go faster with the Javi box than you can with the Xylotechs. You can now, whether you choose to go faster and whether you know, but mine are geared a little faster. Or mine are set by default at 250, whereas you know, the Xylotechs, if it's a small machine and everything's very well made, then you could probably hit those speeds, but not with a severe amount of load. Again, we're talking a difference in amperage. There we go. We got our little plugs. The leads are so short to fit the plug that I melt the heat shrink when I solder. The leads on the leads on you mean like a DB25 connector, or you're talking aviation connectors, Chris? Just out of curiosity. Because let's see. Now let's see. This is going to be red. Red. Take my little solder. Tin. Red. And done. And done. Look at that. Perfect. Perfect solder. Doesn't take long. The trick is, like I said, yeah, I could do this from this side. Always tin the tip so you'll have heat transfer. Now, here's the thing. If you find yourself aviation connectors, okay, well, I'll show you how to do that then. Here, I'll give you some advice. Let me see if I can somehow put this a little closer. Give me a sec. Not a good angle. I don't know if this is too close, but Nope, not a good angle because then, yeah, it won't focus correctly. Let's try this one. Hang on. Unfortunately, I can't do it upside up, down, or upside up, so it'll have to be upside down. Hang on. Trying to get the. Give me a second. This light's in the way. Kind of not close enough, but that'll work. All right, so I don't know how much you can see here. I wish I could zoom in, but all right. So step one, make sure that your aviation connectors are tinned. This is trying to see how I can get you some better lighting here. Well, that'll have to do. Oh, wait, I got an idea. Nope, that won't work either, but maybe that will. Give me a sec. Mm-hmm. I'm inventing as we go. So, pardon my inventive nature. But, and also it's not exactly, there we go. Okay, this goes here, this goes here. Okay, getting there, getting there. Don't know if that... No, that won't work either. Oh, and now I knocked that light down. That's not good. Well, I'll have to put that up later. Okay, well, let's see what we can do here. Well, I don't know if you could really see that very well. No, probably not. Okay, so this has to go this way. Oh, the inventions we do. Let's put it up a little. Well, you might be able to see. You might be able to see something there. All right, so let me clamp this down. So, right here, let me get a pointer thingy. Here's a screwdriver. Right here, we have our tinned connections. And right here, we have our tinned wires. All right, we have our two tinned wires. Very important that you tin both of them first with fresh solder. It's that simple. Now, the only really goofy part about this is just maneuvering the wire so it comes very, very close because you don't want it springing back on you. And then simply take the tip, little bit of, hang on, clean the tip, a little bit of solder on it, and lightly apply heat. Let the heat do the job, but I mean, it doesn't have to be much. And that is that. I mean, it's that simple. It really, I mean, yeah, I've had years of practice, so there's also that. But just let the heat do its job. Hold it for a couple seconds steady after the heat is in place, and you will find that you have, a very solid and non-melted connection. And the heat shrink, keep it far away. I mean, you see the heat shrink is way over here. So now I'll bring the heat shrink up, and with my little heat gun, all right, let's make sure we complete that. We bring the connector in, align the hole in and twist, and then comes the screwdriver, the screw, and seal it up. Tighten this, tighten this. Good evening, Leo. How are you? And that is, as they say, is that one. Now let's do another one. I'm going to do the old strip. Ah! Okay, wire strip. And take ye old thing here. Flatten all 4 cables so I can just strip all 4 of them at once. Twist all 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Take my why is this cable here in the way? There we go. And again, we're tinning the wires. I already tinned all of these connectors that I needed to have ready. So all the connectors are tinned, all the aviation connectors. Now it's just a matter of tinning the wires. This is probably the single most important step. And you tin with new solder. You never tin with old solder. And if you need to, always have some flux on hand, because if you don't if you're not able to get it to transfer the heat, again, the process is this: you take the solder, tin the tip just so it can transfer heat, apply the heat, and at the joint, but really using the solder to spread it on the actual wire. There it is. I mean, there's lots of different techniques, but and then I will cut them at the desired length, which is about 1/8 of an inch. And then get ready for the solder. Okay, so there we go again. Plug this in. That is the red. I do this a number of times, and I always want to make sure that I have the right order, because every now and then I get it backwards, and that's not a pretty sight when you have to undo the whole thing. There's red. We shall need, and unfortunately, sometimes the wires don't cooperate and they're not on the right sides. Well, nothing we can do about that. Grin it and bear it. Or grin and bear it. What do I set the pulse rev to on the Gat? What do I set the pulse revolutions to on the Gatton? Yeah, Leo, I'm sorry. I wish I could tell you, but I set those settings once and a few months ago, and I don't remember. But I'll take a look when I get a chance at the at the settings. I have my laptop around here somewhere, so I'll take a look a little later. Okay, so black goes here. There we are. Make sure I got it aligned, and then solder, melts everything. Nice and neat. See, that's the other beautiful thing about having it tinned. If your solder is tinned, I mean, if both items have solder on them, as long as one solder melts the other, they're melded together. You don't have to worry about it. Whereas a lot of people, what they do is they'll put a blob of solder on either the connector or on the wire, and they'll expect the solder to be like a glue. It doesn't work that way. Most times you have to have heat for the solder to adhere, and I don't want to say absorbed, but practically that. You have to have heat for the solder to join. Anyway, that's the next one here. So we can heat shrink this away. And as they say, that is that. So apparently I didn't open this one enough, so let me just open a little more. There we go. Look for the little and line up the screw area. Grab my little screw with the magnet, and done. And done. Good evening, Troy. How's it going? All right, so there's that wire, and I'll show you when I finish this last one, because I'm wiring up 2 sets of motors tonight. So I'll show you when I finish this last one how I wire up the motors, which is a fairly very simple procedure, because I know exactly what order I wire everything up. So yeah, that could be probably the most difficult thing for most people, is deciding which wire is which. Well, I'll tell you right now, 99% of the steppers out there, green and black is one side, and blue and red is the other. So as long as you group those two together, probably the worst that can happen is the motors will operate in reverse, and that's not bad at all, because that's one setting. It's literally one setting on the on Mach 3 to switch it out, to make them go forward. Or you can flip the yellow and black. I mean, sorry, not the yellow and black. The green and black wires, or the red and blue wires. Just invert them. But that's a lot more difficult than just clicking a button. So, well, you know how it is. All right, so I've got my 4 wires here. And again, I don't know how much of this you guys can see, because I don't know how my, but and if you're wondering why I put the solder here, I'm putting the soldering gun here to get it ready. I'm tinning it now, moving it over, and then now it's heating up the entire wire, so I tin it, touch it, and then it's transfers the heat. And it's very important to use the wire itself. This wire itself, it's very important to use that to spread the solder on a hot substrate, whether it's a connector or something else. The reason being is the core of this wire has flux, and that's what you need for proper heat transfer and for proper adherence. And again, I can't state it enough, guys. If you're going to be soldering anything, you tin both sides, and then you tin the solder very, very little. The solder, make sure the tip is clean. You tin it, and that's it. It's pretty much that simple. But the simple is often the most overlooked. All right, so here we go. Now I make sure I have the notch down, and that's red, so I will put red where it belongs, which is right over here. Tin, apply, and done. Beautiful job. Leave a little time on there. Okay, this one I can do from here. Tin, apply. That's why I like doing them all the same way, because this took a little longer because I didn't have the angle right, because I can't see. I'm blocking my own vision here. All right, let's go to the other side. Let's go to the black one. Tin, apply, heat. That didn't catch. There we go. See, with these connectors, not as bad as the 5-pin. The 5-pin, you better make sure that thing heats up and melts right away, because what happens is you're going to end up, and I'm sure this has happened to anybody that's done this kind of stuff. As you know, you're going to end up heating the metal so much that it's going to transfer throughout the whole pin. And I mean, when you're working with the sockets, when you're working with, hang on, let me pull one out. When you're working with these things, you're gonna find that if you heat it up way too much, it'll melt the plastic around it just enough, and you're pressing it, and now all of a sudden this thing's completely out of position. I mean, because you've melted it out of the way. That's not a good thing. You don't need I mean, you should not be applying so much heat that it's melting. It shouldn't. First of all, you shouldn't be applying that much heat, so your temperature is too high. But second of all, you shouldn't be applying it for that long either. So there we go. So there's the last one. Now let's start soldering the motors, shall we? Okay. Bring that one in. Adjust the put the screw on the magnetic tip with my fat fingers, which is always fun. And done. All right, so this has been taken care of. Now we'll do a little stripping on the other end. Get rid of this stupid string. I can't stand those strings. And strip. All right. Let's see. I've got a couple that I got to strip still, but let's go grab some motors. And I don't believe we need this anymore. Bear with me. Let me go grab some motors. Be right back. Alrighty, I got him here. Sorry, folks. These puppies are heavy, and I didn't realize where I had put them. I was looking all over for them, and they're right in front of my face. All right, so there you are. One motor. Step one. Unless you like using electrical tape, which I do not, I'll just basically, these little tiny pre-stripped leads are worthless to me. And now I'm going to take and put the, oh, look at the pretty colors. So I'll put the, first thing I'll do is put, and this is, I got to look for it. Come on, I know you're around here somewhere. Get the right size. Yeah, here they are. Oh, good, they're right. There's some over here. All right. All right, so I'll grab one of these, and I shall cut it into 2 or 3 if possible. Sometimes I do this, sometimes I forget. No biggie, but I'd rather, This heat shrink I use just to keep the wires bundled together. I mean, you don't really need to, but look how long these wires are. I don't want to cut them any shorter because I don't want to, if you ever if somebody ever has to, restrip them or recut them, and then I cut them right all the way down to the to the motor, that's no fun. All right, so there's 2, and of course I dropped my third one. There it is. Okay. Here's the third. You got to put them in the reverse order that you're going to do them in. So those are those three. I just leave them down here for now. Now I have my red. I have my green. I have my black. And I have my blue, which unfortunately is in a different package. There we go. There we are. Now that I have all the heat shrink in place, okay, so I have all the heat shrink ready to go. It's a very, very simple matter at this point of stripping the wire and this is the way I like to do it. I don't know about you guys, but I like to do the following. Okay, so I have, here's a red connector. Doesn't matter what color, they're all wired the same. Now, since this particular set of cables has red, blue, black, and yellow, the yellow is actually green. So, well, I don't want to do it this way. I don't want to do it where both wires are in the same direction and you twist them, because but then I have to bend it straight and then it creates a bundle. So that's no good. So what I do is I take, I have one wire. I don't know if you guys can see here, but I have one wire and another wire, and I twist them. I basically, I'll show you when I'm done. Let me cut off the ends here. Basically, I twist them so they're straight. I mean, the wires are twisted like this instead of like this. So they're twisted this way. And then this way, all I got to do is a quick solder job, which I'll do right now. And that is not going to, mess up like a connector or something else that tends to go. I mean, when you have, I don't like Molex connectors. I really do not like them at all. And when you have Molex connectors, well, how many of you have ever experienced an issue with Molex connectors? I bet quite a few. So there's another one. Let me just go ahead and solder, and twist all of these. And there we are. And so in case you wonder what I'm doing, I actually strip them. Let's see if you can see this. I strip them not in the middle, but almost at the end. And so I have this long piece to use to twist it. And that way I don't have to, it's a lot easier for me that way. I don't have to be working with the frayed ends or anything like that. I just twist it, and then I simply clip off the two end pieces. They're nicely twisted together, every one of them. And now I'll go and solder away. Solder away, solder away. Been watching too much Pitch Perfect. Great movie. All right, so there we go, guys. We have 4 soldered wires. They're not going anywhere. Now the only thing left is the actual this part. Now, unfortunately, there's one thing I did forget, but, well, it's not necessary and it doesn't matter. And unfortunately, I can't do anything about it now because I'm not about to cut the wires. But normally what I do is on this end, I put a little, like there is a red connector over here. I'll put a red connector right around this end of the cable, but not necessary. And it's, like I said, it's too late now. So... I don't care how many times I've done this. It's still fun to watch the heat shrink. All right. So that's that one. And now I'll take the 3 pieces that I cut and put one nice and close to those, and I'll put the others at equidistant places, and that's how I'll seal. I mean, that's how I'll tighten down these wires, bundle them, keep them together. And this is another reason why I've been considering for a long time to and I'm not going to do it now. I'm not going to do it right away because right now I have just the right amount of orders. But if the orders get too many, I may consider raising the price of the motors, because right now, anybody buying the CNC controller with the motors, they're getting a deal on the motors in the sense that you saw what I just did just to solder this connector and this motor. I mean, hang on, where are we now as far as time? All the lights are blaring in my screen and I can't see anything. So 8:53. Okay, so I would say I was at least half an hour on this one connector for this motor, maybe 20 minutes. Multiply that times 4. Okay, how much is an hour and 20 minutes of your time, and more if you make a mistake, worth? You got to solder. No, actually, yeah, actually, no. I would say, yeah, about that time, about that. Say half an hour each, so 2 hours, because you got you soldered 4 connectors, heat shrink, all that, strip this, connected this, et cetera, and then heat shrunk it all. Now, okay, so to put it in perspective, these motors are anywhere between $40 and $45 each. All right, 4 of them, cheapest price is about one. I mean, they're 425 ounce and NEMA 23. So you're looking at. Oh, by the way, be careful if you see a price less than $40, because 9 times out of 10 they're NEMA 25 knockoffs of like Stepper Online's motors, which are pretty good quality, and you're going to find a very different looking motor. I've used them and they're nowhere near the power. So anyway, $40 to 45, say $40 each times 4, that's 160. The difference in price between the plain CNC and the CNC with pre-wired motors is $200. So let's say you get them for $40 a piece. Let's say you buy these connectors, which you'll probably have to buy a pack of 10 for about $15, or get them individually for $3 a piece. So it's kind of not worth it. But let's say on the low end, $10 for 4 connectors. And then you got to buy a whole bunch of wire. Okay. You're already at $190 plus the wire. So tell me it's not a good deal. $200 more for a fully set of pre-wired connectors. That's practically, that is cost. I mean, I don't want to say it's you know, and again, this is why I'm rethinking the price, because every time I talk about it, I'm talking myself into raising the price, because this is time spent for me. You know, happy to do it to make sure that you guys get a working product, but even so, it's it's time. There you go. One, two, and three. At this point, I'm going to make it easy on myself and do what I always do, which is prepare them in bulk. Okay, now for the let's use green for one of them. Yeah, we can do yellow and whatever. Those don't really matter as far as the color is concerned. Seems to be a little warm today in here. So are these? Yeah, these are all Stepper Online steppers. Well, okay. Yeah, they're all Stepper Online or equivalent. They are all, and you'll notice the stepper motor 23HE45-4204S. And yeah, these particular ones, and pretty much 90% of the ones that I have, are Stepper Online motors. The others are, you got to realize, Stepper Online is a Chinese company. Okay, so it is a Chinese company. It's based in China, and they have a U.S. Website. So don't be fooled. It's not a U.S. company. You know, a lot of people go, "Oh, I'm going to get them Stepper Online because it's U.S." No, it's not. You can get them from the U.S. or from China through Stepper Online, because they have sometimes some in stock here in the U.S. Sometimes they don't, and but they all come. They're all made in China. Every one of these. And again, Stepper Online is a Chinese company. If you don't believe me, ask Dave Gatton. Hey, Joseph, how's it going? Who has an affiliate link with Stepper Online. So every time you buy the kit, well, he has an affiliate link with me too, so use that Gatton CNC coupon code if you. Well, either way, if you, I mean, he gets his correspondence in Chinglish, and that's, I'll tell you, not fun. Not fun at all. Oh shoot. Okay, so I have to see, which one did I just wire? I just wired a red one. Okay, so now I'll do a green. This time I will remember the extra. You know what? I'll put it on the other side because I'm better off this way. On this one, which is green, I'm going to put the green shrink wrap. There we go. On the yellow and on the blue, I will do the same thing. Except I'm going to have to look for more blues because I don't. Here's one. I was going to say I don't have any more blue shrink wrap. Yes, I do. Yeah, U.S. made steppers, and the funny part is U.S. made steppers are also made in. Most of them are made in China anyway. It's very rare. Very rare. I mean, we don't. Because honestly, there's no point. They will take. Now, what sometimes what some U.S. companies do is they will, like, for instance, perfect example is Lead Shine. Okay, Lead Shine is a U.S. company. They make fantastic products. Okay, they're the ones that make the 4660. They're the ones that also make the DM 543 T's. The ones with the T on it are Lead Shine products. However, there's no guarantee because a lot of the Chinese companies, there's no rules and regulations. And while they should be, a lot of the Chinese companies don't don't care, and they'll use the T as a they'll use the T, the Y, the S, E. I mean, some of them mean are specific to different brands. Like Saint Smart has the ST DM 542s, but most companies, they're willy nilly with all their, and most of them just say DM 542 just to make it easy. Shoot, I don't have any. Oh yeah, I do have Diet Coke here. I'm going. Sorry, folks. I need my fix. So, so really, most of the time, I got to tell you, I got to be honest with you. I have not had a problem with not one single DM 543. And we're talking, I've gone through 200 of them so far. I have purchased and installed, I've purchased over 200 and installed almost as many. I'm getting very close to the 200 stepper mark, and not a single one is tested bad. And knock wood, because I know as soon as I say that, the Murphy's Law will take over, and I don't want that. So anyway, so but Stepper Online. So I was saying about Lead Shine. Most of their parts are manufactured in China, and what they do though is they put them through some rigorous quality control, and they have so before they put their name on it, and there's a lot of people that do this. Before they put their name on it, they will test them. And the problem is that they dump the rest, and then the people that they dump it on, they sell them as new. That's where you get all the cheaper ones. Never buy cheap products. Buy them from a reputable location. If you see if you see a stepper driver and one of them is $65, the same DM542, a lead shine one is worth about $65. Okay, that's the brand. You're paying for the brand. You're paying for the quality. But the equivalent quality can be found for $30 to $40, $30 to $45, and you'll see them in that whole range. Sometimes you'll see them for 28. Now, if you go and buy them on eBay or one of these other places for $22.99, I guarantee you they won't last you 2 years. I guarantee you. Because they use substandard components. They probably have some slight soldering defects, or what happens is they are most likely refurbished. Every one of them. They'll be dumped before they get stamped with lead shine or one of the reputable companies' names, and then they'll be sent off to back either to a Chinese sweatshop or an American sweatshop where you got a bunch of guys testing them and soldering them and swapping components until they get them to work. So, be careful. You don't know. You don't know. It's and that's the hard part. It's a with electric components. It's a crapshoot, is what it is. You don't know what you're getting into. You don't know what you're getting. Okay, this was a yellow one. Let's do okay, we got yellow, blue, and green. I don't have a blue, so we'll use the black, and then green is the other one, so we'll do green. So as soon as this is done, the motors, I will move on to. I want to make sure I get these orders out, these 2 orders out. So I'm going to do my best to. Well, I'll probably have 1 order go out, but anyway, because I got to wake up early tomorrow for a nice long drive. And then a nice long drive back on the same day. How many of you guys have had that wonderful experience? Same day, 5-hour drive, and then 5 hours back. Oh, joy. Okay, so that's the green. Now the last one is going to be, well, blue, but I'm going to make it black. So black. There we go. Now for the colors. Oh, the wonderful colors. We got green. We got blue. We got red. And we, of course, have the black. Okay. Strip this. Strip this. And then strip this. Nope, this is stripped. Good. Okay. Blue. Blue is this one, which is really black because I don't have any blue. I've got all my wonderful things in place. Let's see. Yeah, driven out 7 hours and to do to a 5 minute repair and then send out. Wow, that hurts. That hurts. 7 hours to do a 5 minute repair. I hear you. I hear you. Man, I'm getting the joy of dropping off my daughter. Actually, I'm not. Well, okay. So here's the deal. I'm actually going up. Uh, okay, it's time to solder these because they're. So that's the thing. You attach them as best you can, but we're talking aluminum and copper wires. So the best thing you could do is just solder them before they come apart on you. So you don't have the issue anymore. So yeah, tomorrow I'll be heading down with my daughter, actually following my daughter because I'm carrying the fridge. My wife and daughter will be in one car. I will be in the other. My daughter is in her car, so she gets her car over there. I want to see the place, obviously, and wish her well and wish her off. But in the end, I am carrying cargo because I have a truck. And then, but I also have some work to do up there in the general area. So I'm going to take a couple hours while my wife and daughter familiarize yourself with the dorm room or whatever. I'm going to do what I got to do. Then swing back and pick up my wife and head back home. So I'll have nice company on the way back. So, but on the way up, yeah, definitely audiobooks. Audiobooks are awesome. That and I'll be honest with you, I've also I also do enjoy a good XM radio. Has got some, I like Jeff and Larry's Comedy Roundup. That's a great channel. Just joke after joke after joke, and yeah, while some of them repeat, day after day. If you haven't heard it in a while, they're all pretty fresh. Every now and then you'll get some old ones, but sorry, folks, going off camera because I don't want to heat up the some of the heat shrink that's laying down on the ground there. But there we go. So we got that one done. Now we do this, this, spread them all out, and this. Okay. We have our little heat shrink here. And here. And this one, as they say, is completed. And now I go through all the fun stuff of testing them, but that's for another time. Bobiverse. Someone told me about that once. I might Bobiverse books. Tell me about that, Paul. That sounds intriguing. Okay, green is next. Sounds very intriguing. Tell me about the Bobiverse. All right. Let's do the next batch. All right, let's do the old clicky clicky. Snip snip. The wonderful world of heat shrink. Okay, a tech millionaire dies and his body's frozen. Let me click on your thing because I'd like to read it full size here. Tech millionaire dies and has his body frozen and wakes up 500 years in the future, finding his consciousness uploaded into a computer. Then he is uploaded in a satellite to explore the universe. Ooh. That sounds extremely intriguing. Yeah, I'll look into that. If I get a chance, I'll download it tonight and listen to it on the way up, if anything. Might keep me from going to sleep in the morning because I'm going to have a rough time of it. I don't plan to go to sleep too late tonight, but I got to wake up at 7, so that's never any fun. Particularly when all day this week I've been going to sleep late and waking up at, 9 or 10. So we got one after this. We've got this one here. And Okay. That one's taken care of. Last, but not least, motor number Y. He's equipped with 3D printers so he can harvest raw materials, and then he makes copies of himself. They're all the digital network and explore new worlds and meet new interesting. That is definitely along the in my ballpark of cool stuff to read. I'll look into that right away. If I don't forget between here and tomorrow, which I tend to do, but I'll put it on. I got to put it on my list. Speaking of which, I'll put it on my list in a second. The Bobiverse. Okay, let's see here. After this, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to test the box because that way, number one, I can get. No, I forgot who asked. I think it was it Leo? My mind is going already about the settings. Let me solder this first. Okay. Let's see. Book one. We are. Hang on a second. We are Legion. We are Bob. That's interesting. Yeah. Hang on a second. Let me do a quick copy here if I can. Let me see. Holy cow, can't copy from here. No problem. I'll just type it in. Give me a second, and I am going to Google Keep, go my list. We are Legion. We are Bob. I will definitely remember that now. Alrighty. And I'll let you know. Well, I don't know if I'll have it up for this trip because I've got so many things. I'm starting to get a little stressed because, I promised this one guy that I'd have his box tomorrow. And I should have told everybody 8 weeks instead of 6 because this, sometimes on a batch, folks, if you get it late in the batch, then you're going to get it early, because I do these things 10 or 12 at a time. I can't do them one by one or I'd have to raise the prices because it would just cost me way too much of my time. In fact, I'd quit if I had to do them one at a time. It's that simple. Not quit. I'd just not do them. It's not a matter of quitting. This isn't a job, but so. But a promise is a promise, and I have to do what I can to fulfill it and still be awake for my road trip. Everything always takes longer than expected. Remember that, folks. Everything takes longer than expected. All right, so the motors are done. And now let me put this back over here. And as you see, now I have a light in the way because, well, it fell. And I don't feel like getting under there right now. Okay, so let us do what we can to connect this properly. Oh, righty. Okay. What a mess. What a mess. Okay. There's my computer. You know what? Let me... this one I don't need here. I could actually hang this one, so... Consider it hung. All right, folks. Let's grab my little laptop. And, okay, so I got to scroll back. Who was it that asked me the question, and what was the question? Okay. There we go. Turn off the soldering iron. We don't need that for the moment. No, I don't know if I have an Audible account. I mean, I do, but I deactivated it because it costs money, and most of the time I could just download the books online. I always have a source or two, so don't worry. I'll definitely find them. Let's see here. But I appreciate the offer, Paul. Let's see here. Where was I? Okay. Yes. Ding, 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 ding. Take that off of there. All right. I needed to. Why was I looking down here? Oh, yes, USB cable. That would be nice. USB cable. And power connector. And motor. Let's see if we can put all 4 motors on this thing. So should be able to manage that. Boy, do I got to clean up my desk tomorrow. By the way, folks, let's see. Tomorrow, what's today? Today's Monday. Yeah. I won't be having a show tomorrow. Possibly not one Wednesday. I don't know. I may or may not. But just in case. But well, I know you guys. If there's a show, if there's a link, you'll go. If there's not, you won't. So it's not that big of a deal. Let's see here. Put this here. Put this here. Put this here. Okay. Yellow goes to Y. Green is Z. We're going to test a box. Blue is A. And last but not least, X. Red is X. And my tester box is around here somewhere as well. There it is. The famous tester box. We'll put that over here. In fact, let me see if I can manage to hang it here. Better off doing it this way, if I can. Let's find out if it doesn't fall. Yeah. Okay. All the plugs are plugged in. So I can test this one all in one blow. And if it doesn't work, well, I hope it does, and then it'll save me a little time. But there's always a 50-50 chance, folks. 50-50 chance. Okay, so let's do Mach 3 loader. And the person who asked me earlier, if you're still here, what a setting was or two, let me know, because now that I got this up. One easy way to know, in case you hear this after and whatever, is go to my website, go to my frequently answered questions, and download the XML file, which is on the, I think it's frequently asked question number 20. What files do I need? The XML file has all the settings in it, so you can download it, load it with Mach 3 Loader, and see exactly what the settings are. Okay, so I'm clicking reset. I'm turning everything on. And sure enough, number 1, X runs properly. Left, right. So does A, and so do. Perfect. All the motors run exactly as expected. Now, let's do an M1 command. Go to the diagnostics. And here we go, M1. It should turn that light on. Unless I did something wrong. Let me see, M2, M3. Oh, M3. Damn. I gave somebody some bad advice. I thought it was M1. It's M3. I'm going crazy. M4 should be that one. There, good. M5 turns it off. M7, M8, M9. Good. Now, the M3 command combined with S24000 should bring up, bam, 10 volts even. That is a beautiful, perfectly working machine. Folks, this rarely happens. First shot out of the barrel. Steps per revolution. Let's see what we got, Steve. Hang on. I mean, Leo. Steps per revolution. Steps per revolution. Okay. Config. Motor. These damn lights. They're all so bright I can't see. Steps per revolution's at 12,800 because I've got my steppers at 6,400. So steppers 6,400, steps per revolution 12,800. 12800. And as you saw there, guys, 100% success right out. All I got to do now is I got to neaten this, but I'm very, very happy with this one. I'm not going to test this other box that I have just about ready because I only have time to ship one out. I don't have time to mess with both. So it is what it is. All right. Everything's good. Everything's good. And oh, my mistake. I haven't checked everything. I haven't checked the inputs and outputs. Let's see here. Input 1, good. Input 2, perfect. Input 3, good. And input 4. Now I can say all inputs, all outputs, the spindle, the 4 motors, everything 100%. So, folks, with that, I'll be bringing this wonderful episode to a successful and happy and optimistic close because I have to spend the next hour cleaning this place up and boxing and reboxing or whatever and put my light back up. Boy, I'm gonna strap that in better. Anyway, so you guys have a wonderful evening. Let's see here. Jim, what did you okay, hang on a second. Yes, Jim, you came just in time for celebration. So I'm overjoyed. Everything worked out perfectly well with this particular box. And in the next upcoming days, I will be testing a number of boxes because I expect by Friday I should have another 6 completed. Like I said, they're done in batches. So possibly more, but anyway. It is what it is, folks. It is what it is. And I'm very, very happy with the with all the setups and stuff. So, all right. You guys have a wonderful and glorious week. I may or may not be here on Wednesday. I won't be doing the daily things this week. Maybe Thursday. I don't know. We'll play it by ear. So if you get a notification, I'm here. And stay tuned for our show on some more college projects on Saturday and how to wire and program a VFD. with a Javi box and with any other box. So look forward to that episode. Hopefully, you'll gain some necessary knowledge if you have a VFD. Good night, all. Have a wonderful day and stay safe. Stupid light, can't see my arrow. Let's try this one more time. And that's not it. No, it's not there. Okay. You're really getting annoying. There it is. All right. So, folks, again,